Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we get to take a look at the 2024 Lexus RX 350F Sport. Huge shout out to Hendrick Lexus Northlake for providing this SUV for me today. Take a look at their website, that link is down in the description. This RX is finished off in caviar. MSRP is just over $66,000. And this is powered by a 2.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission. It pumps out 275 horsepower, 317 pound-feet of torque. That power is sent through the all-wheel drive system, propelling this 4,000-pound SUV from 0 to 60 in 6.5 seconds. It has a top speed of 126 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 14.5 gallons. You'll expect to see around 22 miles per gallon in the city, 29 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 105.9 inches. Its overall length is 183.5. It has a width of 73.4, a height of 65.4, and its ground clearance measures in at 7.7 inches. As we move on to the exterior styling now for this RX 350, let's start off with the Lexus badge front and center. This is also the forward-facing sensor for the adaptive cruise. There's a camera just underneath that, as well as parking sensors located throughout the front too. And then this still retains that hourglass design grille that Lexus is known for. A little bit more sleeker on this model since there's not an actual surround for it. You can just see that the mesh ends where the bodywork begins. Plenty of cutouts in that mesh as well, including the accents over in the lower section of the bumper. There are some functional air inlets to provide even more cooling. And then you'll notice too with the F Sport package, it gets all the brushed accents in that lower section. And of course, this still has LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals with that distinctive crisp point for that DRL. Now for the lines coming down the hood, you'll notice from the base, they wrap around just above that Lexus badge all the way to the opposite side to really give it a nice flowing look. And then for the F Sport package, this gets a set of 21-inch wheels, and it also gets the 6-piston brake calipers up front, along with the adaptable suspension. There's very nice fender arches, both front and rear. This has power folding side mirrors, which also have the turn signal, the camera, and some chrome accents, which you will also notice wrap around the entire window trim. Now up top, this does have a sunroof, and there's very nice lines that run down the side. There's a swooping line in that back door there that goes all the way to the F Sport badge up front. And then the trim accent from the window flows nicely all the way down that C-pillar. Now in back, this has the body colored spoiler. Wiper blade is tucked up there, third brake light as well. There's the backup camera with the LED taillights, as well as the LED bar that runs right through that power liftgate. There's the sensors down below, and then some more of that trim, which matches nicely with up front. Now this can also tow right around 2,000 pounds, so realistically you're not really going to be towing with this, but you could hook up a small trailer if you really needed to. Now I can use the electronic button underneath to open up the power liftgate, and this has a good amount of space. With the back seats up, you can fit in a lot of items. There's even some cutouts on both sides just to give you a little bit more sideways space. There's some hooks, even some 12 volts too. And then there is the cover, which is removable. And then this is the only way that you can fold down the back seats. There's no release on the seat itself. If I just push on this for this left side, that seat will slowly work its way all the way down. And with both of them down, that gives you a lot more interior space, of course, to put in any items that you need to. There's also space up underneath the floor where there is the spare tire, and then you have a small bin if you want to place any extra items. Up top, you can close the vehicle. The one on the right side will also lock it at the same time. Now, as we work our way to the back seats, you can actually unlock it and lock it. I'll just push on the electronic button on the back side of that handle, and we can move on to this beautiful interior. It has the Mark Levinson audio, some suede with stitching, all of the red leather. This is the manual release. If you need to use that, the electronic button is just by pushing on it, and there's a little bit of storage down in the lower section of that door. If I lock that back up, now we can take a look at the red leather interior. Seems to be a common theme for vehicles today. There's even some dark red around the floor mats. There's also storage pockets in the back. We have the climate adjustments with auxiliaries, even some climate vents there. Very beautiful headliner. And at 5'10", I have around 2 or 3 inches above my head. I haven't been able to find how to recline these seats. I think they are fixed. A little bit upright position, but it's comfortable nonetheless. Right in the middle, there's the armrest along with the cup holders if you need to use those. And you can actually fold down this middle seat individually. So you can pull on that lever if you need to gain access into the back, which is great. So it's a nice place for your backseat passengers to ride. Up front, door panel is just like the rear. However, there's all the controls for the windows, side mirror adjustments, which are power folding, a lot more storage down below. And then of course, same design for the front seats, F Sport, however, is up in the headrest there. And it's a low vehicle, so it's easy to enter and exit. And now we are greeted with the perforated and solid leather steering wheel. F Sport badge is down below. This also has steering wheel mounted paddle shifters, but let's fire this up so we can go over the rest of the information. On this left side, there's volume as well as these controls here, which you will see on the head-up display. So when I hover my finger on them, hopefully you can see all of that. On the top is Bluetooth, bottom is voice commands, and then there's tuning, and then the volume controls, of course. If I push on the bottom button, now we can swap it to mode, audio, and then tuning is on each side. If I go to the same controls, but on the left side of the steering wheel, we have two blanks, and then there's mode for your cruise control, distance pacing, and then you can activate cruise control, and there's the lane tracing assist. If I push on the pages button, now we have display as well as the height for that head-up display. It's very easy to go through, and then you can also go through some more information in this lower section. So if I go back to display, we can scroll over now and look at all this information within the gauge cluster itself. So it's very nice. That will pop up on the left side of the head-up display as well. So it just depends on what you'd like to see and where. It's very nice and quick and easy to go through all of that. Now on the left side, a little bit of a storage bin. There's a fuel cap release, lift gate, memory seating controls, and then odometer and some dimmer switches along with one air vent. And then on the back side of the gauge or the infotainment system, you might have a little bit of storage where you can place some items there. But now as we take a look at this very large system, you have on the left side shortcuts you can get into, so you can pull up your navigation. There's also your audio, your phone when that is paired. We can go into vehicle, look at the different driving modes. You have your driving assistance. Look at all the standard safety features that you have for this particular model. You have a lot that you can go through, look at your TPMS of course, and then even go into some settings. So you can customize this the way that you would like to. Now, still located within this screen are the heated and ventilated seat controls, heated steering wheel. You can quickly get into your climate. You can also get into some frequently used. You have your comfort and convenience, and then drive modes. So you have basically shortcut to get into all of that information. You can even adjust the rear climates from up front as well. Fan speed is right in the middle. Temperature dials are on both sides, and then there's defrosters, power and volume for the radio. Now at the bottom, this does feature a parallel parking assist, so you can use that when needed. And then the view icon is actually going to play this animation here. This is not new from Lexus, but you can take a look at what's around you before you put it into gear. If you push on that one more time, it will exit out. Now there's two air vents underneath that, some auxiliaries, a little bit of storage. And then if I open up this compartment, this even has wireless charging with some more auxiliaries and some more storage space on that right side. There's two cup holders behind that. And then in order to put this into gear, I'll push this to the left and up. That is for reverse, where the backup camera will appear. And then you do have a few guidelines and angles that you can go through. Now, if I put this into drive, we will see the forward-facing camera now appear with that top-down view. And then we can even change that angle slightly, and there's even the automatic. So when you come to a slower speed, it will automatically pop up if you choose to do that. Now with it still in drive, I'll just pull it back once, and that allows you to use the paddle shifters. Now behind that, there's the auto hold, traction control, an off-road setting with downhill assist. There's the engine start stop, and the e-brake is just behind that. And then for the center armrest, you can actually open this up two different ways. And you have plenty of space for any items you want to place there, along with the glove box on the passenger side. Now this also has the camera system integrated into the rear view mirror. So if you want some better visibility, just flip that up. There's a sunglass holder just behind that, all of the dome lights, as well as the controls for that sunroof and sunshade. And then a look at visibility. It is very open feeling. Even over this left shoulder, you can still see around there, which is great to see. As we set off now behind the wheel for the RX 350 F Sport, this isn't the first time that I've been able to drive this vehicle, but it's nice to drive every time I get to check it out, especially with this one with the red leather interior, which seems to be something that is incredibly popular for newer vehicles today. Comment down below if you will buy a vehicle with the red seats, because I see it in a lot of vehicles. I think it's sporty, I think it's cool looking, I think it works well, especially with this exterior color. But behind the wheel of this $66,000 Lexus, that is a lot of money for an SUV. But if you want something that's luxurious, you want something that is going to be very reliable, Lexus is hard to argue with that. They are number one with Toyota as far as reliability goes. And you are going to get a vehicle that not only drives very well, but it's super comfortable, well refined, and you don't have an overboard of technology. And I don't want that to sound bad for the price, because not a lot of people want all of that tech, and Lexus focuses on the demographics of people who don't need a million bells and whistles. Everything is super easy to go through. I do love the fact that they upgraded the screen. This is a few years now, or a few model years, where it's a larger screen, so it's easy to view all the information, but it's also, they didn't add a whole lot of info, but it's still easy to go through what is available. And personally, that's something that I like. Mainly people are just going to hop in, set it, and forget it, so you don't need a million different things. And that's what you get with this Lexus. But now, as we merge out into traffic, for a mild acceleration like that, seemed very fine. I wouldn't argue with its power. And as far as the drive mode that we were in, let's go ahead and change that real quick. So we were in normal. Let's go into sport mode now, and we can use the paddles. It's impressive. Paddles don't seem too responsive. It's not a sports car, you know, it's not something designed to need them, but if you do have to use them, they are there, so they are functional, which is nice. We have the adaptable suspension too. So the F Sport does give you a better ride than a non-F Sport just because of that suspension. So it's going to absorb bumps in the road, everything like that. And in sport mode, second gear, here we go. And mild acceleration, we are up to speed. I really don't have any complaints with this 4-cylinder. For this type of vehicle, it's going to get some better MPG, and it still has the power that you need. If you want to go with more power, you can go up with a 500 model. So there are different options, just depending on what best suits you. But with the interior now for this $66,000 Lexus, I will say overall, it is a beautiful interior. There's a few plastic areas on the inside, which is a little interesting to see, but everything else kind of outweighs that with what it has to offer. And it's a great spot to be. This is on more of the smaller side for the SUV lineup from Lexus. So again, if you need a larger vehicle, you can go with the 500, you can go with the TX, which also has a third row as well. So for the smaller size that this is, has a small footprint. So it's going to be something that is easy to drive in the city, easy to park, yet it still has a lot of space. So it's very practical in the back, not only for people, but for extra storage. And you can feel that this is a small vehicle. And like I mentioned earlier with the suspension, this is a bumpy road. So we're going to hit 2 right here, and it absorbs those well. It's like you're on a cloud for this model. So you can get into this luxury brand at a little bit of a cost, of course. But I think that is going to wrap it up for this walk around review and test drive behind the wheel Lexus RX 350. Once again, huge shout out to Hendrick Lexus Northlake for providing this SUV for me today. Check out their website. Also give this video a huge thumbs up and consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.